Hi everyone, it's me, Tim. Can we talk about VR? Ooh, hold on. Okay, that's a lot better. Yeah, let's talk about VR. I have been doing VR, not development, but just keeping an eye on it, buying different pieces of hardware, trying it out for probably at least the last 5 years, if not more. I've had this particular helmet. It's the Oculus Meta Quest 2. I don't remember what its name is, and I'll get into that in a second. I've had it for over a year. I use it at least every week, and for the first several months, I used it every day. And I'll talk about what I do with it. But when I first got it, I tried everything. I played games. I downloaded different apps for doing things like social stuff and looking at 360 videos and doing virtual tours of places and all kinds of things. I'll tell you what I ended up using it for at the very end. But right now, let me just talk about kind of. I'll start with what I think of VR. I'll talk about the pros and the cons. And then I'll tell you what I actually use this thing for now after having it for, a year. Personally, I kind of hope everything goes AR. That's augmented reality. I already wear glasses, which I use for everything but close up stuff. I wish I could just put on a pair of glasses and have it do arrows when I'm driving, saying, turn here. This is where you have to go. This is this person's name. Don't forget to ask them about their kid. I wish I had something like that. VR is where it is right now, seems very primitive. It feels like I'm back with my Atari VCS, and not for graphics reasons, but just because there are just so many things that aren't figured out yet, aren't really working well. They're getting better. Literally every VR helmet I've had has been way better than the last one. So the pros, I think, of VR, first of all, that 360 view is amazing. The thing I use it mostly for, I love watching 360 videos, especially space ones, like let's explore the Andromeda Galaxy, or let's take a tour of the solar system, or when I can go to places I probably wouldn't go, like let's walk along the Great Barrier Reef underwater. That's great. I'm not going to do that in real life. This is awesome. I also love places I can visit virtually. Some of the places I've been before. In fact, I had a friend who was in London a few months ago, and he was supposed to meet a friend of his at the British Natural History Museum. And the friend didn't show up, and he was upset. And I said, well, why don't we do this? The entire Natural History Museum is completely laid out virtually. I can jump in there, start WhatsApp, and we're chat as you walk along the exhibits. And we did, and it worked great. You know, he said it was this, in a fun way, it was kind of like having someone there he couldn't see. Because sometimes we'd step into a room and like, oh my goodness, look at that whale skeleton, or oh wow, did you see that Neanderthal exhibit? One time it messed up because apparently an exhibit had been swapped out since this virtual walk was done. So I was going on about some really cool artifact, and he goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I had to describe to him what I was seeing, which wasn't what he was seeing. And aside from 360 videos and visiting places, I don't use it that much anymore. Even though this is a really cool device, and I actually even bought, since I wear glasses, I bought prescription lenses that go inside that just clip on. And it's really awesome because I don't have to keep my glasses on when I'm using it, even though I look at things in, quote, the distance. So it's really a lot more comfortable. But still, this thing is a tiresome thing to wear. It doesn't have any plugs. It doesn't have a battery plug. I don't have to hook it to my PC unless I'm playing certain games. But still, I find that the maximum I can probably wear it is about an hour. On really warm days, it's probably less than that. I get sweaty around the silicone ring, which I put on. It used to have foam, but it has a cover. I put that on so I can wipe it off. It's a very tight-fitting, heavy. It pulls down. I find this nose section, my nose isn't that big, and so it leaves a big gap, and I can see light coming in from there, and it doesn't really rest here, so I have to tighten the head strap so it really pushes hard against my head so it stays in place. Otherwise, it'll fall down here. Yeah, that gets tiresome. Also, this thing required, when I first got it a year ago, it required a Facebook account, which I didn't have. I deleted all social media in 2016 for reasons, good reasons. But this required a Facebook account, had to be a Facebook account. So I had to create a Facebook account that I didn't have and didn't want for no other reason than to register this. It seems to do nothing with my Facebook account that I want it to do anything with. I don't want to download my friends list to it. I just want to do some VR apps. Then, a few months after I got it, they switched everything to Meta accounts, which I didn't have and didn't want. So suddenly I had to create a whole new account and get everything migrated over, including purchases I made. It was user hostile, the process. I didn't want to do it, but I did want to keep using this, so I did it. But it kind of just left this bad taste in my mouth of, you're making me do stuff, and I know the engineers don't care about it. It feels like a marketing thing. And so that just left a bad taste in my mouth. And let me just say that, oh my God, the ads. They mail me stuff, which I think I finally got to stop. I finally figured out how to unsubscribe from that, but not updates. So it would stop telling me when things were on sale and other new apps were available. But it used to be when I turned it on, I was sitting in the scenario that I had defined, which was, it used to be this mountaintop outdoor patio thing. For a while, it was Moria at its height before it was destroyed. I'm sure it was a Rings of Power ad, but it looked gorgeous. It had a waterfall and everything. Now, when I start it up, it's got a pop-up for, I guess, apps that are available. I barely look at it. I immediately close it. But the next time I put the helmet on, there it is. That also leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, I paid a lot for this, and I don't need to have ads thrown in my face every single time I put it on my head. Like I said, find a new communication method, people will jam it full of ads. Again, it makes me think somebody at Facebook or Meta Marketing said, I'm going to be super clever, when all it's doing is pissing me off, and I'm sure pissing other people off. Because the bottom line is, and the biggest con of this at all, is there's no real must-have apps. There's nothing that made me go, yeah, I got to get a VR helmet to play this app. There are some good apps and some good games on it. No games have really hooked me, though. There's good ones, but nothing, I only played for an hour. I'm not going to play. I tried out Skyrim VR. It's super cool. It looks really wild to be in Skyrim as 3D. I'm not going to play that thing for hours a day because this is just too tight and heavy on my head. What do I do with this? So what's my current use of VR? There are two apps I use frequently, one of which was getting me to come in every day. The first one is called Wander. Wander has scraped all the 3D Street View and user 3D photos from Google. And I think they did it legally, but it basically shows you a map and it shows you everywhere you can go. And it's got really good coverage. You can go, most museums you can walk around, meaning you can drop yourself in and then move in the 3D view. Most cities you can drop yourself into, including a certain capital city of North Korea, which I was really surprised. And it's interesting to go there and go, wow, this is what Pyongyang looks like. I was surprised. I have gone all over the United States, Central and South America, tons of places in Europe. I finally got to stand at the base of the Great Pyramid in Egypt and in Cairo and look up. By the way, there's a Pizza Hut nearby you can go to that has a great view of the pyramids. That made me laugh. I have been all over Australia, which was super fun because I've been to Sydney a few times. I've been through Japan and China, Antarctica. There's Greenland, Iceland, Svalbard Island, where the seed vault is. Been there, walked around. It's really cool. The other thing I do a lot is because I have a YouTube Premium account, there are a lot of 360 videos on there where you start them up and it just surrounds you entirely. So you can sit in this chair and look around in every direction. And, you know, I've done hang gliding and scuba diving, things I wouldn't do in real life, I've done with this. And it's really cool. Another thing YouTube is really good for is if there's something I want to watch and it's on YouTube, I can make it look like I'm in a big room watching it on an IMAX theater screen. It's huge. I've done that for some things too. Really good use of this. Again, more than an hour is probably my limit. I think I have watched an hour and a half movie on it. That's about it. My current take on VR is it's not there yet. This needs to be lighter, have a longer battery life, not have to be tethered at all to a computer, and just way more comfortable to wear. However, even if it gets all that, I really think AR is what I would use more. I want to be in reality, but if I could sit in my living room and it made it look like there was a giant TV there with AR glasses, that's what I would prefer. If I could sit at a table and it looked like several friends were there and we were playing D&D on my table with virtual dice and my friends are virtual and the map is virtual and I can see, maybe if I'm the DM, I can see DM stuff that they can't see, that would be great. That would be amazing. But we are a long way away from doing that in AR. When that happens though, I'll be there. So that's kind of what I think about VR right now. I've never made anything for it. I've never really, I don't think any of my ideas really make me go, that has to be done in VR. I think any of the ideas I have for games could be done better on a PC or a console. But who knows, that may change. Like I said, VR helmets are getting better literally every generation. So a few more years, there may be a really awesome VR helmet. But this is not that year. Anyway, that's what I think about VR.